If Stan Marsh is your favorite South Park character, it's probably because he's kind, patient, has good morals, or so you thought.
I don't care! I'm not following the rules anymore.
I hate to break it to you, but that kid is a sacred villain who's committed dozens upon dozens of awful crimes. These range from petty misdemeanors to horrifying acts that'll make you wonder why anyone ever believed the 10-year-old was a good kid in the first place. There are many different types of drunk people, and Stan is definitely the type that changes personality every 5 seconds.
Look, dude, things around here have changed. Sometimes, the only way to keep going is to make a left turn.
You, Kyle, you're a piece of
And he hasn't just drunk booze once or twice. The show actually implies that he's a secret alcoholic. At 10 years old, Stan's way too young to be having a midlife crisis and way too young to be drinking full stop. If convicted of underage drinking, he could wind up in jail for 60 days. That's 30 for those 2 clips I showed you. And drinking isn't the only underage activity he's participated in. There are many times in South Park where we see the characters hilariously take a message the wrong way. And the episode Bud Out might be the funniest example of that. An anti-smoking band named Bud Out are performing at South Park Elementary.
Give that cigarette butt a throw.
Jesus Christ.
Smoking's got to go. Remember, kids, if you smoke, you could grow up to be a failure.
Worse yet, you could grow up to be dead.
So don't believe what those evil tobacco companies tell you.
Yeah, because if you don't smoke, you can grow up to be just like us.
That was so lame it physically hurt. Not wanting to become like the members of Bud Out, the boys decide to take up smoking.
Here, give me another one. Oh, dude, this is really hard.
It turns out smoking in full view of the parking lot isn't a very bright idea because Mr. Mackey catches them. The boys discard their cigarettes, but don't check that they're properly put out beforehand.
Okay, because smoking can lead to all kinds of health problems like cancer. Okay, let me tell you something about cancer. Okay, cancer's bad. Okay, and what? Holy
I think that's the only time a teacher is allowed to curse in front of their students. When the boys' parents find out it was them who caused the school to burn down, they are shocked to say the least, and Stan's dad almost disowns him. While setting the school on fire was a total accident, Stan could be charged with underage smoking, and a conviction would mean 6 months in jail. But that's definitely better than getting lung cancer. Bullying is a major problem in schools all across the globe. It was nice to see South Park Elementary take a stance against it. Or at least try to. It's lunchtime and Eric is ranting about the music industry.
I'm telling you guys, music videos have devolved to nothing but pretty girls wearing skin-tight clothes and singing songs about their vajayjays. Used to be chicks sung about relationships. Now it's all, my vajayjay this, my vajayjay that.
Jeez, carbon male or female, nobody wants to hear about genitalia when they're trying to eat. Or at least most people. Later, an assembly is called by Mr. Mackey to discuss bullying, and an anti-bullying spokesperson asks for someone to direct a music video about the issue. And of course, the only volunteer is Stan. Let's see what he came up with.
Bullying is ugly and has a stupid name. For a healthy world, bullying's unfit. And I think I know what we should do to it. Do to it. Let's all get together and make bullying kill itself. Bullying's an ugly thing. Let's shove its face in the dirt and make bullying kill itself.
Why is that low-key a bot, though? I'm not gonna lie. Apart from Cartman's verse about vaginas, everything seems to be going well. However, Kyle ends up walking out and accusing Stan of only making the video to satisfy his own ego. The music video is a big success and ends up getting bought by a Hollywood movie company.
Dude, Butters, we have awesome news. A Hollywood movie company is gonna buy our bullying video.
And Stan is cheered when he arrives at school the next day. Later that day, Kyle and Stan argue in the school restroom about selling the video. Stan tells Kyle to leave because he wants to use the bathroom, and Kyle makes this comment.
But when you're naked and jacking it in San Diego, don't ask me for help. Why does he keep saying that?
That was a weird thing to say, but I bet Stan will just forget it. Stan and Butters appear on the Dr. Oz show to talk with the host about bullying, but Dr. Oz becomes angry at Butters for just sitting there and not saying much. And when he asks him if he actually cares about the victims of bullying, the kid snaps completely. Butters' behavior tarnishes the video's reputation, and Stan is met with boos when he returns to school. When he eventually finds out that Dr. Oz is suing him and the school, he thinks back on that comment Kyle made.
I don't need
need no shirt, no. Gonna take them pants right to jacket. On such a bright day, who needs underwear? Jacket. Been around God's country, and there's one thing.
Yep, Stan traveled all the way to San Diego just to jack it in the street. I'm not exactly sure why he took Kyle's comment literally, but I do know he's guilty of indecent exposure. And a conviction would lead to 364 days in the slammer. A bit of an embarrassing thing to be in for, really. Making music on the surface is one of the most harmless things that you can do. So why did Stan and his band literally get stopped by the government? The boys kicked Cartman out of their band Moop for wanting to play Christian rock.
Just get the hell out of here, Cartman. You're not serious and you're a detriment to the band. Oh, yeah? I will bet you $10 that if I start a Christian rock band, I can get a platinum album before you guys do.
In retaliation, Cartman forms his own Christian rock band, but he doesn't do this because he loves Jesus. To find inspiration for their record, Stan, Kenny, and Kyle illegally download music from the internet. And the crime is apparently so heinous that the FBI gets involved. The boys are arrested and an agent shows them the heart-wrenching damage illegal downloading causes.
Here's Britney Spears' private jet. Notice anything? Britney used to have a Gulfstream 4. Now she's had to sell it and get a Gulfstream 3 because people like you chose to download her music for free.
Moop vows to go on strike until all fans stop illegally downloading music and harming musicians. Meanwhile, Cartman's band with Butters and Tolkien tops the Christian rock charts with a hit record they made by slightly tweaking an existing song. The band goes on to sell 1 million records, and Moop decides to stop striking.
That's right. We've already sold 13 copies. You want to pay me that $10 bet now, Kyle?
The success has made Cartman super rich, but he ends up blowing all the money. His band attends an awards ceremony for Christian rock music, and he's presented with a myrrh album instead of a platinum one. Cartman is not happy that he lost the bet.
But you spread the word of the Lord. You brought faith in Jesus.
Oh, Jesus! Eric, I'm pretty sure you shouldn't say the F word about Jesus.
Yeah, you're gonna hurt the band.
Who cares, Token? I can never beat Kyle now. I'll say it again. Jesus!
He obviously drives the Christian crowd away for taking the Lord's name in vain. The boys then abandon him on stage. Butters leaves too, but not before farting in Cartman's face and giving him the finger. Stan's music career was a disappointment, but getting prosecuted for piracy will be even more disheartening. Piracy is a word for illegal downloading, and if found guilty, Stan would be sentenced to a whole year in prison. He could also be fined $100,000. But do you think that there's a singer good enough to make those consequences worthwhile? Probably not. Weight loss is a massive business industry. There are so many hacks you can lie about to make money, but Stan had to choose the least believable one out there. After watching a Subway spokesperson claim to have lost weight by eating their sandwiches, the boys want to meet him. However, when they do, they're shocked to discover he actually lost weight through dieting and exercise. Yeah, South Park Elementary is really failing these kids. The boys plan to make money by getting Butters to lose 50 pounds and then claim his weight loss was down to the strict diet of City Walk, a Chinese restaurant the boys have made a deal with. Butters probably already weighs less than 50 pounds, so the boys need to fatten him up.
I can't eat no more. You have to. Here, have some more mayonnaise. Chef, we need more food.
I'm running out, children.
Wait, Cartman's already a fat ass. Why can't he do it? Oh, that's right. He's just big boned. Butters ends up becoming fat, but he doesn't end up losing the weight when he exercises. Thinking on their feet, the boys come up with another way to get the fat off him.
Everything's getting dark. We gotta hurry this up. Oh yeah, keep doing that. That's working good. He's losing weight. Whoa, whoa, whoa! It's out of control. Oh, everything's getting sparkly. Oh no, dude, Butters' parents are home. Oh, crap.
The others run away, and Butters' parents walk in on what should be a very shocking scene.
This is unbelievable. How many times have we told you never to have self-performed liposuction surgery in our house?
4 times, Mom.
Well, I guess that wasn't enough. You get up to your room right now, mister.
Yes, sir.
Talk about strict. Like your son's laying there in agony, aren't you gonna help? The boys later sneak Butters out of the house and take him to City Walk, but the owner doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. Stan's business idea was not only a complete flop, it was also illegal. He's not a doctor, nor does he have a medical license. Therefore, the liposuction he performed on Butters was a crime and could earn him 18 months in jail. If you have ever been abused by an internet troll, you're not alone. Just ask the residents of South Park. A parent-teacher meeting is being held to discuss the influx of online internet trolls, specifically one named Skank Hunt 42. He loves to target women and girls, and Heidi Turner has been the most recent victim. The cyberbullying is so bad it makes her delete Twitter and throw her phone off a bridge. The deletion of her account causes police to swoop in on South Park Elementary. And Mr. Mackey tries to console children over the laws of Heidi on social media.
To accept the fact that Heidi won't be on social media anymore. I know we're all gonna miss her, okay? We're gonna miss seeing what she's up to. Miss seeing those silly pictures she'd post of her and her friends.
Stan and the boys want to put an end to Skank Hunt 42, but how can they stop the troll without knowing their identity? Well, they know one person hateful enough to be the vile user.
Cartman is the cause of all our problems. Always.
We all know what has to be done.
Knowing they can never stop Cartman by reasoning with him, the boys decide to just destroy the electronic device he owns. They invite Cartman to Stan's uncle's cabin, and he agrees. When they arrive at the cabin, Cartman begins to take out his computer, and this is when the boys make their move.
Let's just get it over with.
No, please, if I can't get out, I won't have it. I need to... No, God, no, 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 oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
There's no way he didn't bring all that stuff to not show it off. I say this is karma. Cartman passes out and the boys bury his smashed up devices in the ground. Back at school, the boys see the girls angrily slam their lockers and realize Cartman was not in fact the troll. They all feel super guilty for destroying his stuff, even Kyle. While Stan feels remorse for what he did, that doesn't mean he won't be punished by the law. Smashing up Cartman's stuff regardless of whether he was the troll or not is property damage. I doubt Eric's stuff was worth more than $5,000 in value. That means Stan will only be sentenced to 1.5 years in jail. He'll also be fined $100,000. That's enough to buy Cartman like 100 new laptops. Oh, and you're probably all wondering who SkanCon 42 was. Well, it was Kyle's dad, Gerald Broflovsky.
Hey, I'd like to volunteer to kick you in the...
It's my daughter at the triathlon today. Go, little girl.
The mustache! What the hell is wrong with your ovaries?
This would be a perfect depiction of a troll if only he was in his mother's basement. 9/11 was the most catastrophic terrorist attack ever, and only a deeply offensive show like South Park could turn something so tragic into a joke. Mr. Mackey interrupts Mr. Garrison's class for this disgusting reason.
Boys, we have a very serious problem. I've just come from the men's restroom, and somebody went number 2 in the urinal.
The police arrive to investigate the incident, but can't find the person or people responsible, so they appoint 2 guys called the Hardley Boys who will try and solve the mystery by following clues with their...
Oh, yeah, no, I've got a total clue.
I've still got a raging clue.
My clue's pointing over there now.
Oh, let's follow that clue.
After school, Cartman reads about 9/11 conspiracy theories and presents his own theory during show and tell the very next day.
So now, the inevitable question. If terrorists didn't cause 9/11, who did? Remember that there are in fact 2 towers. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1, 1, 11. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1, 1. And there are 9 members on Silverstein's board of directors. That's 9, 1, 1. 9/11. And take 2 minus 1 plus 9/11, and you get 12. Which leads us all to the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks. Kyle.
It's stuff like that which makes you wonder whether Cartman is as dumb as a rock or just clinically insane. Eric's conspiracy ends up spreading around the whole school, causing almost everyone to believe Kyle is responsible for 9/11. Pretty soon, the CIA starts investigating the theory and questions Stan about Kyle. Stan goes to Kyle's house, which is currently being spied on by the government, and tells him he found a website that can prove his innocence. They go to the 911truth.org owner's house and are shown 2 jars of anthrax that are apparently evidence of 9/11 being an inside job. A SWAT team suddenly bursts in and escorts the 3 of them to the White House. George Bush murders the website owner before admitting to the boys that the conspiracy theory is in fact real.
Wait. He was right. You did cause 9/11.
Yes, quite simple to pull off, really. All I had to do was have explosives planted in the base of the towers. Then on 9/11, we pretended like 4 planes were being hijacked when really we just rerouted them to Pennsylvania, then flew 2 military jets in the World Trade Center filled with more explosives and shot down all the witnesses in Flight 93 with an F-15 after blowing up the Pentagon with a cruise missile. It was only the world's most intricate and flawlessly executed plan ever.
Would it be so funny if he admitted that Cartman's theory was true, though? The president then orders Stan and Kyle's deaths, but the crossbow misses them, setting off the fire alarm and allowing the pair to escape. The kids flee to Chicago and are taken in by the father of the Hardley Boys, who reveals that the government are the ones creating 9/11 conspiracy theories so they can make people fear them. And that wasn't even the biggest plot twist in the episode. This is...
And the government was more than willing to take the blame, so long as it made them look responsible for 9/11.
Oh man, now everyone's gonna know. Why did the stupid Hardley Boys have to be so good at solving mysteries? So wait. Stan took the dump in the urinal and he contacted the conspiracy website, but the conspiracy site was run by the government? Yeah. So then who was responsible for 9/11? What do you mean? A bunch of pissed off Muslims.
For pooping in the urinal, Stan is forced to clean the bathroom while Mr. Mackey lectures him. And sure, that's gross and all, but it's certainly way better than spending 3 years in jail for menacing, which is the crime of threatening someone with a deadly weapon. I can't believe I've only shown you half of Stan's crime so far, and his sentence is already almost a decade long. Surely it couldn't get any longer, right? Guys, there's a whole half of the video left. Like, really? If his sentence truly does not get any longer, then I have thoroughly scammed you with this video. But my dear viewer, that's not what's about to happen. So I suggest you take a deep breath because things are about to get way worse. little white lies here and there, sure, they're fine most of the time, but lying about being abused is wrong on so many levels. I'm looking at you, Stan Marsh. Cartman has 4 tickets to the Raging concert. Kyle's parents agree to let him go if he can complete a list of unachievable tasks.
All right, fine, Kyle. You can go to the Raging concert if you shovel the driveway and bring democracy to Cuba.
Communist country run by a dictator named Fidel Castro.
Whole driveway or just beside the car?
He actually ends up finishing them, but his parents still won't let him go to the dangerous and vile concert. Kyle vents about this to the boys at school, and Cartman suggests doing something that'll make his parents just go away.
Well, I mean, you could call the police and have them take your parents away. Yeah, I saw it on TV. All you gotta do is call the police.
What's that?
I don't know, but it works. When I wanted to get rid of my mom's last boyfriend and said he was me, and I haven't seen him for 3 months.
Kyle takes Cartman's advice and phones the police. His parents are then arrested for child. The boys enjoy themselves at the concert. After the show, Kyle throws a parent-free party.
I'm gonna say my parents me too. Hey, yeah, they are parents us.
That sparks a trend, and pretty soon, all the adults in town are arrested for children. And Shelly is also arrested for trying to attack Stan after he celebrated their parents' arrest. Under the control of children, South Park segregates into 2 towns, Smiley Town and Treasure Cove. A couple named Mark and Linda arrive in Smiley Town after their car breaks down. The couple go to a garage and meet Butters and Greg, who tell them the nearest phone is in Treasure Cove. They cross the white line. The town is even creepier than the previous one. Mark and Linda end up getting ambushed by the kids and return to Smiley Town. Greg and the other boys then take them to meet with the mayor of the town, and I wonder who that could be.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Cotner. Won't you come in? Mr. and Mrs. Cotner, as the mayor of Smiley Town.
You're the mayor? What the hell is going on here? Where are all your parents?
Ah, you mean the birth givers.
This is even more hilarious when you consider the fact that it's literally only been 10 days since the adults were all put in jail. Cartman tells the couple that he'll get them a phone if they steal a book from Treasure Cove.
If you help us, we'll get you what you need.
This is a book that everyone wants, as it'll force a member of the opposing town to be sacrificed to a god the children refer to as the Provider. The couple then try to retrieve the book, but get attacked by the children of Treasure Cove. They are then taken to meet the leaders of the town, Stan and Kyle. Stan asks why they would help a fat ass like Cartman and tells the story of the before time.
In the long, long ago, we all lived by the birth giver's laws. Unfair. They made us go to bed early and eat broccoli.
Yeah.
And so the fat ass came up with a way to have all the birth givers disappear. Soon we were without power, but we tried to survive. Under the guidance...
Provider.
And us disagreed on how to worship the Provider. The fat ass tried to make us sell to school.
You're probably wondering what the birth givers, I mean parents, are doing during all this chaos. Well, they're working on their sick urges in jail.
What I want you to do is learn to control those 6 seconds. Now we're going to try an exercise. I'm going to confront you with what you...
After convincing themselves that they really did their kids, Mark gets Smiley Town's book and brings it back to Stan, while Cartman chooses Butters as the sacrifice. But before the boy is killed, Mark and Linda finally decide to step up and become adults in the situation.
Butters, your turn.
I'm gonna be sacrificed.
Stop right there. Nobody's killing anybody tonight.
Be careful, Mark.
Yeah, we'll call the police and say you us too.
What?
Realizing all the kids framed their parents for molestation, Mark gives a speech on the importance of parents, causing the kids to remember their providers who haven't even been gone for 2 weeks. The kids agreed that things were better when parents were around and ask Mark to tell the police what happened. He calls the cops and all the adults are released. The couple then leaves South Park and Linda tells Mark that she's getting her tubes tied.
Hey, looks like you're not so bad with kids after all.
You're right. Maybe we should have some.
Yeah, right. Getting my tubes tied tomorrow.
Wow, a lot of crazy stuff went down in that episode, but there's really only one crime Stan is guilty of: lying to the cops. False reporting to the police is public mischief, and the maximum penalty for that is 5 years in jail. And I sure hope Stan doesn't suffer from claustrophobia, because that jail is going to be absolutely packed. Every other kid in town lied about being molested. They're all going. Assisted dying has been the subject of many political debates, and I'm not going anywhere near that with a 10-foot pole. Stan's grandpa, though, is. He is all for it. The Marshes are celebrating Grandpa Marvin's 102nd birthday, but the birthday boy is not having a nice time.
Hooray! How's it feel to be 102, Paps?
Shoot me!
Make a wish, Grandpa.
I wish I were dead.
That's our silly grandpa.
I'm not being silly. Kill me.
I'd do it myself, but I'm too damn old.
I love how they ignored literally everything he just said. After the party, Stan is watching Terrence and Philip, but the show is interrupted by his grandpa trying to shoot himself. Knowing he's too old and frail to kill himself, he tries to bribe Stan into shooting him for $1.
How would you like to make $1, Billy?
And when he refuses, Grandpa claims he did the same for his grandfather when he was a kid. Grandpa Marvin tries to off himself again, this time by making Stan help him unknowingly.
Grandpa, okay, just get out of the way of the TV.
Hey, Philip. It looks like those beans might make me fart. Well, don't fart on me, Terrence.
Dude, he's gonna fart on his head again. Hey, you're gonna miss it, Kenny.
What the hell are you doing?
We're not watching Terrence and Philip, I swear. I mean, Cartman was watching it.
No, I mean, what the hell are you doing to Grandpa?
Tug a little harder, Billy.
You little jerk! You were trying to kill Grandpa! I'm killing Mom!
Damn it, I was so close!
That's probably like the only acceptable situation where you can tattle on a sibling. Grandpa later traps Stan in his room to show him how unbearable life is when you're old, and he does this by playing terrible music that old folks listen to.
Now you're about to see what it's like to be as old as me. Are you ready, Billy?
I guess.
Feeling sorry for his grandpa, Stan agrees to help him commit unalive.
Why don't we just shoot him? You dumbass, Cartman. It has to look natural, or else we'll all get busted. Yeah, stupid.
That's good, Billy. A little higher now.
Yes, because thousands of people die each year from falling cows. Death shows up and interrupts them, but ends up taking Kenny instead of the 102-year-old. Still determined to die, though, Grandpa Marvin books a trip to Africa so he can be eaten by a lion.
I'm planning a trip to Africa. Did you know over 400 people are eaten naturally by lions in Africa every year?
And the episode ends with everyone laughing at his plan. However, Stan won't be laughing for very long. Assisted dying is actually legal in Colorado, but only a licensed physician can end someone's life. Last time I checked, Stan is not a doctor. That means he'd be charged with attempted assisted suicide. The punishment would be the same as attempted manslaughter, so 7 years. And knowing Grandpa Marvin's luck, it wouldn't surprise me if he's still alive by the time his grandson gets out of prison. Donating an organ usually takes some level of selflessness, so if you think Cartman would never do that, you're correct. Kyle is dying from kidney failure and needs an organ transplant.
All right, Stanley, I'm going to be very honest with you. Your little friend Kyle needs a kidney transplant, or it is very possible that he will die.
Stan offers his kidney, but it's not a suitable match. Unfortunately for Kyle, the only compatible match is his biggest hater.
There's only one person in South Park with the same blood type as Kyle.
Who? Oh,
Well, of course he has the negative blood type. Shocked by Cartman's refusal to help dying Kyle,
Stan, why don't you just ask the question? All right, will you donate one of your kidneys to Kyle?
Stan and the other boys decide to take the organ from him by force. They sneak into Eric's house during the night and get ready to make a very bloody mess. However, Cartman is one step ahead of them.
Okay, let's see. Looks like if we cut here and here.
I hope it's not too bloody. I'm wearing my favorite pants.
Thingy, right, well, here goes nothing. Help me pull his pajamas up.
No way! Kidney Blocker 2000? What? Oh, Stan and Butters. Trying to take my kidney, are you? You suck, Cartman. Maybe so, but at least I was smart enough to wear Kidney Blocker 2000.
One morning, Cartman is horrified to wake up with a thick red liquid on his bed sheets and no Kidney Blocker 2000 in sight. He demands the return of his kidney, but Stan begs him to reconsider for Kyle's sake. Cartman goes to the hospital and orders the doctors to put the kidney back in his body. The doctor agrees, but Cartman must first sign a release form beforehand. Kyle and Cartman recover on the same ward, and Stan reveals how Kyle was able to find a donor.
It was all a trick. Your mama did the kidney blocker, and then we put ketchup in your bed so you'd think we took your kidney.
Yes, but it was all just a trick to get you to come in and sign this release.
Isn't that funny, sweetie?
I am so pissed off!
Organ theft isn't funny, Leanne. It's a serious crime warranting serious jail time. While Cartman signed a release form, that was only because Stan tricked him into doing so. He never gave any real consent to donating his kidney, therefore Stan is guilty of organ theft and will be jailed for the next 15 years. But it was definitely worth it to save his buddy's life, apparently. Have you ever left something super important behind? Stan did that once, and there were really bad consequences. Boys are going from shop to shop trying to find Kyle's dad, and
I need to get a for my dad.
Very funny, boys. Go on, beat it.
Why is that funny?
as they're walking down the street, Kenny randomly bursts into flames.
Oh, where you gonna go, Kenny? You gonna see your little girlfriend again? Dude, you spend way too much time with that girl.
What can I say? He just disintegrates. His cause of death is put down to spontaneous human combustion, sparking fear amongst the residents of South Park. Kenny's funeral soon takes place, and his parents bury all that was left of his burned coat. After the service, Priest Maxie asks the boys if they want to perform the Stations of the Cross, and Kyle mistakes the word resurrection for erection.
Death and glorious resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Hey, resurrection! That's what my dad needs.
Huh?
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Wonderful.
At Stan's house, the boys argue over who will play what character.
It says we can make costumes out of sheets.
This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna be Jesus. You're too fat to be Jesus.
Oh, and like you're gonna do it, Jew?
Stan should be Jesus.
Either I'm Jesus or else screw you guys. I'm going home.
You're such a fat baby.
Having the most sinful kid in South Park play Jesus is the most ironic thing I can ever think of. The boys performed the Stations of the Cross despite Kyle being Jewish, and afterward they head deep into the wilderness to carry out a real...
Oh man, at least the real Jesus didn't weigh 400 pounds.
Up your ass with broken glass. This spot looks good.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Okay, cool. See you, Cartman. Hey, wait, where the hell are you going?
Stan and Kyle ignore Cartman's pleas to be let go and abandon him on the cross. They come back later to see if the erection has worked.
Wow, he died.
Now we just gotta wait for his erection, and I can give it to my dad.
Hey, there you guys are. Cartman, you guys are in big trouble. Now get me down from here.
How come you're not dead yet, Cartman?
You guys? I am seriously. Get me down right now. Look, fat ass, after you die and get resurrected, you'll have all kinds of superpowers just like Jesus.
Really? Yeah, so hurry up and die, you piece of crap.
Cartman amazingly survives 3 weeks on the cross despite there being an intense heat wave. And when Stan and Kyle finally come back for him, he's practically knocking on death's door.
He's been up there for like 3 weeks. Wow, that's amazing.
I'm really pissed off now. Dude, you're still alive, Cartman? Get me down from here.
Dude, you survived all this time on the fat stored up in your body?
Yeah, and when I get down from here, I'm gonna kick you both right in the nuts.
Well, at least Leanne got 3 weeks of peace and quiet. As Cartman survived, Stan isn't going to get charged with manslaughter, but he definitely would be convicted of attempted murder as he planned to leave Cartman at the cross until death. And if Stan was found guilty, he'd be imprisoned for 48 years. That looks bad, but it's all sunshine and rainbows when you compare it to the fact that Cartman once went on a killing spree eradicating Jews, hippies, Justin Bieber, and the people of San Francisco. Only the baddest kids try to trick the Tooth Fairy, and only the baddest of the bad commit felonies while doing so. The Tooth Fairy gave Cartman $2, and he shows this off to his friends at the bus stop. He suggests they all combine their teeth together to make even more money from the fairy, but Stan and Kyle have already lost all their baby teeth. And trying to take out Kenny's teeth does not really go to plan.
Timmy, go! Yeah, Timmy!
Kenny has blonde hair? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Cartman finds out Butters has lost a tooth and attempts to steal it from him in the middle of the night.
Hi, you guys. Jesus Christ, why did we pick the fat guy to lift up in there? Ah, careful, you assholes. To the left, you guys, left. No, camera left, camera left. That's it, now down.
What the? Who's there? Who is that? I am the Tooth Fairy, my child.
I just know he wears the fairy costume at home while eating pot pies. Cartman and the rest of the boys continue stealing teeth for him to put under his pillow. Leanne then soon runs out of money and has to tell her son that the Tooth Fairy is not real.
Eric Poopy, sit down. Mommy has something to tell you. It's just that, well, there is no Tooth Fairy, Eric.
And of course, Cartman couldn't keep it to himself and just had to ruin the magic for everyone else too.
You guys, there's no Tooth Fairy, you guys. There, I said it.
What do you mean there's no Tooth Fairy?
My mom's been giving us the money all this time. Dude.
That can't be. My parents wouldn't lie to me.
Money that she's bankrupt and we're poor like Kenny.
However, Stan isn't gonna let that stop them from making cash and suggests that they steal money from underneath the pillows of rich kids. On their first house of the night, the boys end up meeting professional robbers who run a tooth-stealing business, and the company leader, Loogie, offers them a deal.
Work for you. Have my cut off. Have my cut off.
Cartman!
How much do we get if we work for you?
2%. Have my cut off. 2%.
We're in.
It's such a difficult decision, isn't it, Cartman? The boys steal so many teeth that the American Dental Association becomes suspicious, and a dentist named Dr. Foley sets out to investigate. Meanwhile, Stan and the boys have racked in tons of cash by robbing rich parents. Cartman then suggests that they form their own business so they won't have to split the profits.
Yeah, but you know, why do we need Loogie? Keep all the profit. We can't do that, dude. Loogie will kick our asses.
And Loogie tries to drown Kenny in retaliation. The boys then see this news report on TV.
Billy, how much more money do you need for the transplant?
$600.
Louder, Billy, we can't hear you.
Just $600.
Wow, that's a lot of money. How the hell are you going to get all that in the short amount of time you have left?
I don't know.
Well, Billy, I also understand that you lost a tooth today.
Yeah.
Billy, we want you to put that tooth under your pillow tonight because we have a feeling that the tooth fairy is going to leave you $600 for it.
Really?
Really?
Yes, really, $600. I might also mention that Billy lives in Crestview Apartments just off Arapahoe Road on Emporia Street. Back to you, Tom.
And decide to target the house. However, this is actually a trap set by Dr. Foley. The burglars get caught and the police are called to the scene. Their punishment is never revealed on the show, but in real life, Stan would receive 12 years per house he burgled. We don't know exactly how many houses the boys robbed, but since they had literally partnered up with professional burglars, I think 100 homes is a pretty safe bet. All in all, that's 120 years. Stan cares so much about animals that he'll break into just about anywhere to save them. We first saw him trespass on a farm to save some baby cows from being slaughtered.
Well, I don't know about this, fellas. It says right here on the Mission Impossible breaking and entering playset, not for actual breaking and entering. Breaking and entering is a crime.
Yeah, well, killing little helpless baby cows should be a crime, too. How does this thing work, Cartman? Jesus, don't you guys have any toys? First, you put on the black ski mask and use the torch to cut a hole in the roof.
Then we watched him break into Denver Sea Park and steal the orca jambu. And what does he plan on doing with the giant sea creature after rescuing it? Well, he first leaves it in Clyde's pool, then he decides to send it into frackin' outer space.
I don't know, but at least from now on, every time we look at the moon, we can know that Wilsiak is up there, dancing with the other Zypods in his castle.
I don't think you can do much dancing when you're dead. Stan doesn't only break and enter for the sake of animals, though. There was a time he broke into Build-A-Bear workshop in the middle of a pandemic just to make Butters a bear.
We're really here, and we are gonna build you a bear. Which one you want? You want the panda? You want the Bronco koala?
And that time he stormed a business meeting between fast food chain owners and started firing at them for trying to shut down Cartman's hamburger business. Stan committed 4 counts of breaking and entering in those clips that'll earn him 12 years in the clink, and I'm not done yet. Another 6 years will be added for animal cruelty since Jambu ended up asphyxiating in space. Next, we got theft for stealing the farmer's livestock. That's another 6 years. Lastly, we have the restaurant shooting. Nobody was killed, but Stan would definitely be charged with attempted murder of these 7 restaurant owners. That's an additional 336 years for Marsh the Menace. Stan is clearly a passionate animal lover, and the crimes I just showed you make that obvious, but stealing an orca and a bunch of baby cows is only the tip of the Marsh's animal activism iceberg. Beneath its surface lies a very fiery and bloody crime. Stan is celebrating his birthday at the Denver Aquarium, which is ironic considering what he previously did to Jambu. He's admiring the dolphins when an angry mob of Japanese people suddenly storm the enclosure.
Oh no, it's the Japanese!
The mob then goes on a killing spree, slaughtering beluga whales and dolphins at various aquariums throughout the states. Stan is horrified by the vicious attacks on innocent animals and decides to do something about it. He joins an anti-whaling reality show called Whale Wars. The Whale Wars ship pulls up to a Japanese whaling ship, and the crew members argue about how they should punish the whale killers. They decide to throw stinky butter on the ship, but Stan wants to do something more violent. He grabs a flare gun and gets the ultimate revenge on the animal killers.
Oh my God! What did you do?
Stan gets thrown in jail by the Japanese for what he did, but what if he was extradited back to South Park? Well, he'd certainly be charged with murder, that's one thing. There appear to be about 200 people on the whaling ship, but some escaped on a lifeboat. Therefore, let's estimate around 150 people burned to death or drowned due to the result of Stan's actions. The minimum life sentence for murder in Colorado is 40 years, so that means Stan will be in prison for the next 6,000 years! At least he can say he stood by his beliefs no matter what. You probably think that sinking and drowning are the only things to worry about while on a boat, but there's something way more dangerous to worry about, at least if you're Stan Marsh. Eric and Stan are at Jefferson's Lake near the town of Beaverton, and Cartman convinces Stan to take some guy's boat for a spin, but he's a terrible driver and completely loses control of said boat.
Dad! Beaver dam! Very large beaver dams, Dad!
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, you never listen to Eric Cartman. The crash resulted in a huge flood that destroys the small town of Beaverton. And that evening, Stan watches a wild news report about the disaster.
We do not have any reports of fatalities yet, but we believe that the death toll may be in the hundreds of millions. Beaverton has only a population of about 8,000, Tom, so this would be quite devastating. Any word on how the survivors in the town are doing, Mitch? We're not sure what exactly is going on inside the town of Beaverton, Tom, but we're reporting that there's looting and, yes, even acts of cannibalism.
He is overwhelmed with guilt the next day at school, but sympathetic Cartman tells him it's Beaverton's own fault for being built under a beaver dam. Global warming is soon announced as the cause of the flood, sparking mass panic across the country. Everybody in South Park evacuates to the community center. Meanwhile, the people of Beaverton are left to fend for themselves. Stan convinces Kyle about breaking the dam and decides to rescue the stranded people of Beaverton instead of just owning up to everyone about what he did. He gets in a boat and history unfortunately ends up repeating itself.
Oh, thanks! Thanks!
The whole town goes up in flames. The boys escape to the roof of the burning oil factory. Pretty soon, the United States government shows up to rescue them and everybody else in Beaverton. The boys are then taken back to South Park, and the government reveals the true cause of the flood.
It was crab people.
Those darn crab people! Stan finally confesses that he was the one who broke the dam, but since everyone assumes he's just speaking metaphorically, he gets let off the hook. While the news claimed the death toll of the flood was in the millions, that was clearly just an attempt to sensationalize the story. I estimate the real death toll to be about 85. This is around the same figure as the 1977 Johnstown, Pennsylvania flood that was also caused by a dam and also affected a small population. This means that Stan is liable for dozens upon dozens of deaths. 10 years is the penalty for manslaughter, so Stan's gonna be in prison for 850 years. And that's just for one crime. He's got an additional 12 years for stealing the boat, another 90 days for underage driving, and an extra 30,000 years for damaging at least 2,500 buildings with the flood and fire. It's safe to say that cancels out any of the heroic deeds the kid has done in the show. Stan's a super bad kid with an overall total prison sentence of 37,425 years and 326.5 days. But there are villains who are quite literally a billion times worse. Click the screen to find out what evil deeds your favorite character has been getting up to.